All right, today we are going to learn how to solve proportions. So solving a proportion can be compared to creating equivalent fractions. We will use within and in between relationships. It is important to keep things balanced or equivalent. And don't forget, during these notes, if you ever need to pause and rewind or anything like that, make sure you do so. All right, within, what do these words mean? Within this same ratio. So within the same ratio, basically up and down. In between is between the different ratios, so you're going across the ratios. So we got within and we got in between. So if we were to look at this one, it's important to find a relationship either within or between or both. Once you find your relationship, it is important to do it to the both sides, to both of the sides. So as we were saying, within is up and down, so up and down. So in this case, within. And across is going to be between. Between, and you want to make sure you do it to both sides. And you can go either direction as well. So first thing we're going to do is figure out what kind of relationship we have. So in this case, there is no relationship up and down because 5 doesn't go into 7. However, if you look at 5 and 15, 5 can go into 15 3 times. Or 15 divided by 5 is 3, so therefore this relationship is going to be in between, in between. So between. Here, 3 and 4 don't go into each other. But 9 divided by 3 is 3, so the relationship here is 3, so this is going to be within. And this one, as you can see, 6 doesn't go into 10. However, 5 and 10, so 10 divided by 5 is 2, so the relationship between these two is 2. So this would be within. For this one, 9 divided by 3 is 3, so we can go within. 9 divided by 5 is a decimal, so we can't go between. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. So our relationship here is 3. So we're going to go within. On this one, 9 divided by 2 is a decimal. However, 27 divided by 9 is 3. So our relationship here is 3. So this one's going to be between. So 9 times 3. Or 27 divided by 3. You can go either way. For this one, we cannot go up and down. 14 divided by 9 is a decimal. However, 14 divided by 7 is 2. So we can do a relationship of 2. So we're going between. Between. Okay? So in that case, we have between. So let's take a look at the next ones. So now we're going to actually use that information to actually solve these proportions. So whatever relationship, remember, if you find a relationship, whether it's between or within, you're going to need to do it to both sides. Okay? So for this one, our relationship is 5. 15 divided by 3 is 5. But I'm going to be going towards the x. So I want to go this way. I want to go towards the x. So it's going to be 3 times 5 to get, so if I'm starting at 3 and I want to get to 15, I'm going to do 3 times 5, which is equal to 15. And I'm going to do that same thing at the bottom to get to the x. So I'm going to start at 11, and I'm going to times that by 5 to get to x. So my answer will be 55. For this next one, 6 divided by 5 doesn't have a relationship. However, 18 divided by 6 is 3. 18 divided by 6 is 3. And once again, I want to go towards the x because we don't want to start at x. We want to start at 5 and get to x. So we have a within relationship here. And if I start at 6, I'm going to have to multiply by 3 to get to 18. So I'm going to do the same thing on the right side. And 5 times 3 is 15. So x is going to be 15 there. For this next one, it's a little trickier because there is no relationship at the start. 36 divided by 24 does not equals a decimal. It's actually 1.5. 24 divided by 16 is a decimal as well. So when you run into something like this, you want to simplify any fraction that you can. So 36 over 24, I want to go ahead and simplify that. And if you know your fast facts, you'll know that 12 goes into both of those. 12 is a common factor for both of these. So I'm going to divide 36 by 12, and I'm going to get 3. And I'm going to divide 24 by 12. So I'm going to divide both of those by 12. And 24 divided by 12 is 2. Now, so as you can see, 3 divided by 2 does not equal, it equals a decimal. So there's no relationship there. However, 16 divided by 2 is 8. But we're going towards the x. So I'm going to start at 2, and I'm going to multiply by 8 to get to 16. So I'm going to do 2 times 8. And I'm going to do that to the top as well. Remember, you got to do it to both sides, because we're going between here. And 3 times 8 is 24. So x will equal 24 for that one. Let's look at the next one. 15 divided by 9 does not work. There's no relationship up and down. 12 divided by 9 is a decimal as well, so there's no relationship between. So we have the same dilemma here. We're going to need to simplify 9 divided by 15 so that we can find a relationship. So if you think about the factors of 9 and 15, hopefully you'll see eventually that 3 can go into both of those. So we are going to divide both of these by 3. So I'm going to divide 9 divided by 3, which is 3. And then I'm going to do 15 divided by 3, which is 5. And now you should see the relationship across, or between. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So our relationship between is 4. But we want to start on the right side and go to the left. So I want to start at 3. And I want to start at 5 there and get to x. So if I start at 3, I'm going to need to multiply 3 by 4 to get to 12. And I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom here. 5 times 4, which will give me 20. So x is equal to 20 there. Remember, these are all equivalent fractions. 3 elevenths is equal to 15 fifths. 6 eighteenths is equal to 5 fifteenths. They're both 1/3. 24 sixteenths is equal to 3 halves. They're both equivalent fractions. And 12 over 20 is the same size as 3 over 5. So all these fractions that you're doing right now are all equivalent fractions. And that's what proportions are. So let's find another equivalent fraction. You should see that 12 divided by 9 does not equal, it equals a decimal. And not 21 divided by 9 is a decimal. So there's no relationship within or between here. So we're going to need to simplify 12 over 9. In order to do that, we're going to divide both of those by 3. So I'm going to be dividing these by 3. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. So now you should see a relationship between, because 21 divided by 3 is 7. So we're going to try to find the equivalent fraction of 4/3 by multiplying that fraction by 7 over 7. So if I'm starting at 3 and I want to get to 21, I'm going to multiply 3 by 7. Let's get a different color here. So remember, whatever you do to the bottom, we're going to need to do to the top. So it's going to be 4 times 7. And 4 times 7 is equal to 28. So x equals 28. X equals 28. So remember, proportions are ideally the same fractions. If I were to simplify 28 over 21, if I were to divide both of those by 7, you'll notice that it equals 4/3. 28 divided by 7 is 4. 21 divided by 7 is 3. So if I were to simplify all my fractions in all of these proportions, they would be the same fraction. And that's a good way to check your work. Simplify everything you see. All right, so looking at this next proportion, I see a relationship within. 14 divided by 7 is 2. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. And I want to do the same thing over here. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 8 over 4 And remember, if I were to simplify 8 over 4, I would get 2 over 1. And if I were to simplify 14 over 7, I'd get 2 over 1. So as you can see, these are equivalent fractions, or, equivalent fractions. So now let's look at some word problems. So now we just got to set it up before we solve the proportions. At the store, oranges cost $3 for 8 oranges. So my proportion would be $3 over 8. So 3 over 8. How much will 16 oranges cost? And so you want to make some type of table to help you with this. You want to make sure that the units are on the same, like if you have oranges on the bottom or at the top, you want to have all your orange units at the top. If you have your cost at the bottom, you want to have all your cost units at the bottom. So in this case, we're going to write our given, and our given here is that 8 oranges equal $3. And so there's a mistake there. So 8 oranges equal $3. 8 oranges equal $3. And I want to have the same thing here. So what we're trying to find? We're trying to find 16 oranges. We're trying to find 16 oranges. And we're trying to figure out how much it costs for 16 oranges. So our X goes for the cost. Therefore, don't look at that. It's backwards. This should be cost, and this should be oranges here. So our relationship is 2 times 2. So 16 oranges will cost us $6. $6. So 16 oranges will cost us $6. In Mrs. Mata's class, there are 2 boys for every 3 girls. If there are 18 girls, how many boys are in class? So our units here are going to be boys and girls. Boys and girls. We're going to write down our given here, and our ratio is 2 boys to 3 girls. So remember when we learned ratios yesterday, this is where it comes and helps us. 2 boys to 3 girls. They give us 18 girls. So we're trying to find how many boys there would be if we had 18 girls, given the same ratio here. So you should see times 6, or 18 divided by 3 is 6. So we're going to be multiplying 3 by 6. So we're going to do the same thing at the top. So our answer will be 12 over 18. So remember, our ratio here, we're going between, and it's times 6. So 2 times 6 equals 12. 2 times 6 equals 12. All right, let's take a look at the next one. At a restaurant, there are 9 cooks for every 6 servers. If the total number of cooks and servers is 22, how many servers are there? So here, our ratio is going to be cooks to servers, or servers to cooks. I'm sorry, how many servers are there? Let's see. At a restaurant, there are 9 cooks for every 6 servers. If the total number of cooks and servers is 22. So you're basically adding both of these up. They give us the total number of cooks and servers. How many servers are there? So our given is servers to whole, or servers to total. So what they give us is 6 servers, and our total is 15. So 6 to 15. At a restaurant, there are 9 cooks for every 6 servers. If the total number of cooks and servers is 22, so this 9 should be 15. This 9 should be 15, so a little mistake there. And they tell us that the total is 22, so we need to find our relationship here. And as you can see, 15 divided by 6 is a decimal, and 22 divided by 15 is a decimal. So we're going to need to simplify this ratio so that we can find a relationship that goes into 22. So if I were to divide both of these by 3, I think there might be a typo in this problem. At a restaurant, there are 9 cooks for every 6 servers. The total number of cooks is 22. I have a feeling we need to remove, in order for this problem to work easily, we're going to remove and servers here. If the total number of cooks is 22, how many servers are there? So we're going to need to edit this so that it says the total number of cooks is 22. So total cooks. So this should be servers, this should be cooks. Now when I simplify this fraction and divide these by 3, well, I don't know. I think that won't work either. So let's just go ahead and skip that one for now. I'm going to need to look into this problem and fix it. Something's not right about that one. So let's take a look at the next one. So we're going to go ahead and cancel that one. I'll have to fix this problem, so we'll look at this one later. All right, a movie theater has 24 screens. The ratio of action films to all films showing is 1 to 2. How many action film are showing? So we have action and all films. We have our given, which is 1 to 2. 1 to 2. And we know that there's 24 total screens, or 24 films that they can show. So our ratio is either up and down. So we could go this way and do divided by 2. Or we could do this way, which is times 12. So divided by 2 or times 12, and we should get 12 as our answer. 12 is our answer. Let's take a look at the next one here. At the zoo, there are 6 giraffes for every 2 alligators. If there are 7 alligators, how many giraffes do they have? So part to part here, we're going giraffes to alligators. They tell us that 6 giraffes for every 2 alligators, so 6 to 2. And they tell us that there are 7 total alligators. So in this situation, we're going to go within. Because 7 divided by 2 is a decimal, so we're going to go up and down. And since we want to start at 7 and go up, we have to multiply by 3 here. So 7 times 3, which gives us 21. So 21 will be our final answer here. 21. Don't forget, you can pause this and start. Just make sure that you're doing the problems before we go over them. So make sure you're doing the problems before we go over them, so that you can make sure you're getting good practice in. An ice cream store notices that for every 5 customers, 3 choose vanilla ice cream. If 24 people choose vanilla, how many customers did the ice cream shop have? So an ice cream store notices that for every 5 customers, so we've got customers to vanilla, and it's 5 to 3. So our total customers, which is 5, and out of every 5, 3 choose vanilla. We notice that 24 are choosing vanilla. So in this case, we're going to go between, because 24 divided by 3 is 8. But we're starting at 3, so it's going to be times 8. So 5 times 8, which is going to give us 40 total customers, if 24 were to choose vanilla. All right, one more page of practice, and we will be done. Grapes are sold $3 per bag. If you have $12, how many bags of grapes can you buy? So I'll go ahead and draw our table here. So our units are grapes, so cost, and bags. And they tell us that $3 for 1 bag. If you have $12, how many grapes or bags of grapes can you buy? So in this case, you can either go up and down, which would be divided by 3 since we're going to be going down, or we could be going from left to right, and that would be times 4. So we can either do times 4 here, which is 4, or divide by 3, which is 4. So our answer is 4 bags of grapes. David paints 3 rooms in 7 hours. 3 rooms in 7 hours. At the same pace, how long would it take him to paint 15 rooms? So we got rooms and hours. And it says he paints 3 for every 7 hours. So how many would you be able to paint in 15 hours? In this case, we can't go up and down because 7 divided by 3 is a decimal. However, 15 divided by 3 is 5. So since we're going to be starting at 7, I know that I'm going to have to be multiplying by 5. So 7 times 5, which gives me 35. 35 hours. Sarah makes cookies at the rate of 2 dozen cookies per hour. If she needs to make a total of 216 cookies, how long will it take her? So for this problem, we look at what our given is. And our given for this one is 2 dozen cookies per hour. So 24 cookies, and this is hours. So 24 cookies, 2 dozen. So 2 times 12 is 24. 2 dozen cookies, and that's every hour. They want to know how many in 216 cookies. So in this case, I would do divide by 24. I would be going up and down. So divide by 24. So 216 divided by 24. Let's see. That would be 24 times 10 is 240. So that would mean it'd be 9 hours. So make sure you divide that and make sure you can get 9 by dividing that. When juggling a ball, it travels in a complete circle every 2 seconds. How many circles does it make in a minute? So remember, a minute has 60 seconds. 60 seconds. So for this problem, our units will be, well, first of all, it's every 2 seconds. So circle every 2 seconds. So 1 circle in 2 seconds. And they give us, and they ask how many circles does it make in a minute. So remember, a minute is 60 seconds. So for this one, we could either go up and down or between. If I go up and down, it'd be divided by 2. Divided by 2, because we want to start at 60 and end up at the top. Or if I start from left to right, it'd be times 30, which will probably be the easier one. So our final answer is 30 circles. 30 circles. All right, and don't forget, make sure you pause the video so you can practice them before I go over them. If baseball cards come in packs of a dozen, and Matt buys 132 baseball cards, how many packs of baseball cards did he buy? Lots of typos in this one. All right, so they tell us that 12 cards, baseball cards come in packs of a dozen. So packs, so every 1 pack, there's 12 cards, because it says a dozen. And he buys 132 cards. So we want to know how many packs that is. So 132 divided by 12, or 12 divided by 1. So you can go up and down. In this case, we're going to be going up, because we want to end up at the top. So we're going to do divided by 12. Or you can go from left to right. 132 divided by 12 is 11. So you would be multiplying because you're starting at 12. So our final answer will be 11. And then finally, in a basketball game, Katie makes 3 out of every 5 baskets. So there, our given there is 3. 3 makes out of every 5 shots, or every 5 baskets. If she took 25 tries, so she took 25 shots, how many will she make? In this case, we can't go up and down because 5 divided by 3 is a decimal. However, 25 divided by 5 is 5, so we can go across. And in this case, we want to start at 5 because we're going to be starting at 3, so it'll be times 5. So 3 times 5, and our answer will be 15. Make sure you reach out to your teacher if you have any questions.